And welcome back to another episode of the America First Daily News. Today is January 22nd, 2025. Trump has been successfully inaugurated. He is officially your president once again. There's a lot going on and I don't even know where to start. This is breaking news actually that I'm just getting a hold of. It's actually official. The White House has ordered all DEI offices to begin closing by end of day Wednesday, marking the end of a disastrous period where people were put in positions of power and authority based on how they look and what they decide to stick in their hoo-has instead of based on their merits, experience, and their expertise. Those days are over, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. Actually, that's going to be in the next episode. This is just us going through. We're going to do our Twitter and our Instagram run to go over the daily news topics, and then we're going to come back and we're going to specifically dive in to all the DEI BS, all the failures, and we're going to dive into who's upset about it and why. Those exact same people and why. And the people that are upset about it, I'm going to explain to you why. Instead of arguing with them, we're in the days now where we just ignore them. We pretend they don't exist and we just move on away from them and we leave them in the past. So I don't know if you guys, a lot of people have already been reporting on this. I was so shocked and disgusted that a woke lesbian abomination pretending to be a bishop had the nerve to, in a way, chastise my president. Now, for starters, whoever selected this venue where this mentally ill, likely a MAP, a minor attracted person, was working to speak to the president, that person should be immediately fired. It's probably a remnant of a DEI hire of the past that we're going to have to get rid of. But this person made our president and the vice president and their families and the audience so very uncomfortable by promoting these disgusting lies to excuse child abuse. And I'll tell you, we'll break those down during this little speech. So let's start here. This is, I believe this person's name is Bish. I don't even, you know what? Who even cares? We don't even need to know this person's name. It's just somebody, again, that we do not need to prop up and we need to ignore, but also investigate and possibly prosecute, because there's no way you're in this type of position unless, as a gay person, unless there's some kind of collusion or something else going on behind the scenes. But because they do have a history. These people, like this woman, they have a history of children. And you'll see why I say this. Give me a second.
To have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now.
For one thing, it's not the president's job to mitigate fear from anyone. That's not his job. You can be afraid of what you want to. You can do what you want. You're in control of your life. The president does not control that. He is not your daddy.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children.
And that is not true. There is no such thing. There's no such place where a child is. That's not a thing. And these children are not afraid of being unalived. By who? Who are you really afraid of? Random people? Regular people in the public? No. What do these kids grow up to do? Scam and manipulate men and try to embarrass them because they can convince a man that they're actually a female. A man talks to you, and then later they expose you and make fun of you and try to get you on video, speaking to them, texting them. And a lot of them get caught trying to do extortion. In return, because you tricked this man into thinking you're a woman, you will be attacked and unalived, because that is something that's unforgivable. That's involuntary rape in a way, because you're lying to this person about your sexual identity, your true gender. That's a problem. What these children are afraid of are their parents. Their parents push this ideology onto them. Their parents In a way, it's a form of Munchausen by proxy. A lot of these moms despise the father, and they specifically do this to their sons to hurt the father. And they'll go as far as to sterilize their son and to make their son up where they will sell the son to other perverts in in the name of sexual acceptance and adhering to this ideology. And it's disgusting. And there's a huge problem with that in this country. So there is no such thing as trans kids, just parents who are abusing children to the point where they won't stop the abuse until the kid says, okay, I'll be trans, I'll be a boy, I'll be anything you want me to be, I'll be that. It's physical and mental abuse. So there's no such thing. So that's one lie this abomination has said.
Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
Yeah, they fear for their lives because they're afraid of what their parents would do to them if they say they don't want to play along with this. There's an example of a girl in Florida who's actually a boy, but they've mutilated this person so much, and now the boy is pretending to be a male again and back dating women, and they've already chopped off everything. They have to use a dilator. Do you know these people, once that wound that they're trying to pretend is a vaginal crevice, once that wound heals, that's why they don't want it to close. Because you're using this, they use the lining of the small intestines. The fecal matter eventually will get into their bloodstream, and they will have poisoning of their blood, and that's what also causes their body to shut down and from infection. That's how they get the infections in their blood. So again, one thing that we always stress to people here on America First Daily News, the Club Rico podcast, the Safe and Effective podcast, is the truth. The truth is this entire ideology is a part of not necessarily the gay agenda only and a trans agenda. Those agendas have one goal. It's not happiness. Those agendas are only lead to depopulation. Those kids, if you do go through, you go all the way with the surgery, the blood infections will wipe you out. Those people don't survive very long before there's too many health complications, all the surgery and damage they did on their insides. It's horrible, and it's an excruciating, painful death. So you die that way, or you're so embarrassed by the time you become an adult in your 20s, you're so ashamed of all that disgusting stuff that people you thought were your friends manipulated you into doing when you were younger, that you typically self-delete before the age of 34. It all leads to death. None of this stuff leads to long-term families that you're satisfied with, that you're happy with, a wife, a child, and living like humans have been living for the past, I don't know, since the beginning of recorded history. As far as I know, this is the first time in history that we're trying to reinvent the wheel. We're in essence trying to water the grass with Gatorade, and it won't work. This person knows this, but they're not there to manipulate the adults. This person is in this position so they can manipulate and have access to children. This is a bishop at the church. This person has access to children, and they're convincing children that this is the way. Those children will self-delete.
And the people who pick our crops.
The people who pick our crops. Do you know how many people in this country there are? You know how many people, you know how many places we grow crops? We grow crops all over this country. We have indoor plants where they can harvest in the winter. This country's entire food industry is not made up of illegals. She is also lying. If you are here illegally, you are breaking the law. For a regular American, if they break the law, they are locked in jail and they're separated from their families. That should not be any different for a person who's here illegally, regardless of their nation of origin. Families are broken up. American families are broken up every day when you commit crimes. There will be no difference here, except this is how generous we are in the United States. Your kids will be deported with you. You don't have to break up the family, regardless. And now, irregardless if they were born here or not, the whole anchor baby thing where you can just game the system, those games are over. Where you can just pretend that you're here for a couple of days, overstay your visa, have a child, leave when you want. Your kid's going to get automatic citizenship and they can just come back here in 20 years and run for office. No, those days are over. So again, she's trying to use your sympathy to shame you into submission, and it won't work. Why is this piece of trash talking to my president? That's what I want to know. Who gave this person access? They shouldn't have access.
And clean our office buildings. Labor
and they're not all doing slave idiot labor that is for the lowest skilled workers in the country. That is a racist trope from a person who is a bigot. They look so down on immigrants that they think that all they can do is clean and do jobs that Americans won't do. Like they don't have businesses or other things that are more important to do. This is a job that Americans, Black, white, Asian, Latino, jobs that we also do. We clean toilets, we clean offices, we babysit, we do lawns. We just haven't been able to because illegals will come here and undercut us on the price. But see, that's the thing. I work in housing. I used to think that I would hire a bunch of, guys from other countries that don't speak English to come work on my properties. They're charging the same as an American now. And you won't get the same quality of work because you can't sue them because, well, they don't even legally live here. So they really don't exist. So everything she's saying is nonsense and it's not true.
Farms and meat packing plants who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals.
Yeah, those are called students. Students work at restaurants. Students do our dishes. Students work night shifts in hotels and restaurants. What the hell is this woman talking about? Nothing. BS. And I'm glad Trump and his family and the vice president are ignoring this idiot.
They may not be citizens or have the.
Then they don't belong here. And you know what? I offer this challenge to you, Bishop, Madam, Sir, or whatever the hell you want to call yourself. Why don't you leave and go join them in solidarity? Go across, leave the country, renounce your citizenship, and join them somewhere else. Prove to us, I want to see it. Prove to us that you really care. If you're not willing to do that, then shut the hell up.
Proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
If they are here illegally, they are automatically criminals by default. They're not, you don't know who they are. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know these people. So how can you make that determination? No, this is you trying to win favor with a particular sect of people in this country. It's not enough of you guys, or you guys would have won on November last year. It's over now. So you're wasting your breath and you're insulting my president and wasting his time.
They pay taxes and are good neighbors.
They do not pay taxes. They do not have socials. Yeah, when they buy gas, is there going to be a tax on the gas? Is there a tax on food? But they're not paying a federal income tax. They're not being paid directly where taxes come out of their paychecks. They don't have socials. They're not paying taxes. They're not going and filing taxes. That's a lie also.
They are faithful members of our churches and mosques.
They're, again, the church that you represent and the church that I go to are two different churches. The God that conservatives share is not the same God that these gays, pedophiles, pervs, we're two different gods. Don't mix up the gods. Do not pretend like you represent my God. You don't. Everything about you is contrary to my beliefs and my God. So we are not sharing the same God. And you guys are literally taking over those spaces again to have access to children. And that will eventually have to stop as well. Right now, not enough people realize what influence this is having over children, but they will.
Synagogues, Wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
No. It's not your parents only. You will also be taken away. Have no fear. You will all be together. And again, you can go with them in solidarity. And matter of fact, you can start your whole new community over there of gays and and illegals. You guys can just build a commune and you guys can live your own way of life somewhere else. But over here, it's not going to work. You will be deported and you will be arrested.
That you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution.
Not our job. The way it works with asylum, right? You're supposed to go to the closest non-war zone country. Asylum seekers are not supposed to move to the other side of the planet to find refuge. You're supposed to go to the closest country that is not fighting from the war zone you're in. Let's be honest. There's only a war going on right now in the Ukraine. The rest of these people are just gaming the system. If you're coming from Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, Panama, Cuba, my home country, there's literally no war right now. So you're not fleeing war. You're not fleeing death. You're just doing what you want to do. You know that you can come to America and you can get free shit. And you don't care that it's expensive at the expense of your freedom because you didn't have freedom to begin with. There's no freedom of speech. You guys gave up your guns. You guys don't have a right to bear arms. You can't say what you want to say. There is no entitlement to vote. Though you want to take advantage of those things in our country. And the thing is, you're going to have to stay home and make your country great. You're going to have to work on your own governments. You're going to have to go cry to your own president. Sitting at the border and crying to my president, that's over now. It's not going to work. Shaming us into submission by playing on our sympathy. It was a useful strategy when you had a bunch of Marxists and communists in power. In the day of pragmatism and conservatives that are grounded and based, those tactics will no longer work. You're going to have to regroup.
In their own lands, to find compassion and welcome here.
There is no coming here for everybody.
Our God teaches us.
Your God and my God teach two different things.
Principle to the stranger. For we were all once strangers.
We were not all once strangers. Just you, and you're still strange.
In this land.
Unbelievable. A huge waste of time. And I love Donald Trump responded. The so-called bishop who spoke at the national prayer service on Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater. Absolutely. 1,000%. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. Remember, there's a separation of church and state for a reason. She broke that. So now I believe her 501c3 status of a nonprofit should be taken away. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal immigrants that came into our country and killed people. She didn't mention one word about that. No compassion for Lincoln Riley or any of the other victims. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. How do you think, and don't get me wrong, I like what the president of El Salvador did. How do you think, besides locking away, 1% of his population, the remainder, how do you think he made his streets so safe? They told a lot of the gang members from not Trinidad de Agua only. They're also from 18th Street and other gangs that are in El Salvador. They told them that they'll let them out from prison and they can have their freedom only on one condition, that they take a bus ticket, they leave the country, and they go to the United States. They did this with their mental institutions and their prisons, and it's documented and recorded because there's whistleblowers in these countries that think that that's a terrible thing to do, and it's not in line with UN beliefs. And they emptied out their prisons and mental institutions and sent them to the United States. And guess what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did? They let them in and they flew them to any states that were red to turn them purple, or any purple states to try to turn them blue. And those people are now integrated all over our country. There's no social security number. There's no identification. There's no fingerprints. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they're up to, but they're here. They have no, and they're not inclined to join our traditions. They don't have our American beliefs. They're here to extract at your expense. So he's right about that. That idiot bishop didn't mention anything about that. It is a giant crime. Oh, this is from Trump still. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the U.S. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was very boring and uninspiring. She's not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. Absolutely. And if they don't, her and her church should lose their 501c3 status, since they're no longer a religious institution. They're now a political activism group. So Trump is doing the right thing. Let's see here. There were some other things that I wanted to talk about. Oh, this BS thing that I'm seeing a lot of people on social media, a lot of gays, a lot of gay black people. Basically, it's only those two groups. They're all on here trying to make a big deal about this, pretending that the Nazi salute overshadows the Roman salute, which is ridiculous. So we'll explain why that is ridiculous. First things first, how long did the Nazi regime last in Germany? The Nazi regime only lasted 12 years. Drei Reich, the Third Reich, they only lasted 12 years. How long did the Roman Empire last? About 1,000 years. 1,000 years. So you mean to tell me that a group that used a salute for 12 years supersedes that of the other group that used that salute and existed for over 1,000 years? Really? Again, ridiculous and nonsensical. Nonsensical. So no, that is not the Roman salute. That is not the Nazi salute. This is the Roman salute. And actually, this is him gesturing that he put his hand over his heart, took his heart, and threw it in the crowd. That is nothing to do with the Nazis. But honestly, even if it was, if you look at the people that are complaining about it, they're socialists, Marxists, and communists. They're Nazis. Literally, the word socialist is in the name Nazi. Now, it's a nationalist socialist party. These are all socialist communists that are complaining about this because they're just looking for something to say. They're confused. And it's literally falling on deaf ears. So that's another group that'd be great to just ignore. Another thing that's great about America that's happening right now that Trump did: freedom for J6 hostages. There was no mercy on these patriots being taken away from their families, from their children, from their work, from their property, from their homes, from their bills. There will be no sympathy for anybody else. The raids have already started in Dallas, Texas. This person's caption reads, "The raids have already started in Dallas. What did my innocent son do to deserve his father to be taken away like this? ICE just came to our house, waited for him to come outside, and took him. He was on his way to work to earn a living for us, and now he's gone. He was here since he was a child. How is that fair? Life's not fair. Life's not fair. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean that's what it's going to be. And the child can also go with the father, and so can you. It's unfair if you remain here in the country and let him leave and not have access to his child. It would be best that you go with him." If he was here illegally and he didn't take any steps to, I don't know, join the military so that he can earn his citizenship, if he didn't make the steps to file paperwork once he became an adult and he knew his status, because think about it, there's no way you don't realize that all your American friends have a birth certificate and social security card, but you don't. If you did not take the proper steps to do what you had to do so that you can remain in this country, the same thing my family had to do, same thing that all the rest of the people that come to this country legally have to do, then so be it. You did this to yourself. He did this to his son, and you should take it. And if you're an American citizen and you have a kid with him, the fair thing for you to do would be to move back to his country with him and figure it out together as a family. I mean, you have a kid with him, right? So you guys are our family. It's just how that's how it has to go. I do want to talk about this. They actually confronted, because Davos is going on right now in Switzerland, and they actually confronted them. I'll talk about Alex Jones is the only person talking about this.
Rebel News, headed up by Ezra Levant, by the way, it's on my show tomorrow to talk about the incredible things that are happening.
So we'll get back to Alex Jones shortly. And this guy is apparently running out of adrenochrome or the estrogen injections and the trans treatment that he's been taking for the past 30 years are starting to lose their effects. Michael wants to come out. And that's the thing. All of this trans stuff, all of this manipulating your body's natural hormones and trying to mimic the gender of the opposite sex, it's all experimental. It's only been going on since the 90s. The technology got a little bit better in the early 2000s. This is the result. There's a lot of men out here that could pass for a woman. He is not one of them. Michael LeVar Robinson is the name of the person that it hasn't been debunked yet. That's the problem with all of this. Why hasn't this been debunked? No ex-boyfriends, no anybody that can show proof that this is actually a woman. No proof that she gave birth. Nothing. And it's just, that's how all this began for me. I thought it was just a bunch of racist, horrible, evil white people, blah, 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 that were just making up all these stories about Barack and Michelle. I'm like, nah, that's a power couple, blah, blah. And I went to go try to prove these people wrong, right? And I couldn't prove them wrong. And that's where a lot of this started. People used to say stuff about Trump, and I wanted to prove that they were wrong about Trump. And when I started reading and going through everything, and I'm like, well, he didn't actually say all that stuff. Well, then I'm like, well, then what so you were lying to me this whole time? The answer is yes. They lied to you about Trump, and they're lying to you about him. Michelle Obama will be remembered as a man. That's it. Now, this is all me just doing my scroll down. What is this? Twitter X. We haven't made it over to the Safe and Effective Podcast Instagram yet, because there are a couple of topics that I did post, so I wanted us to go over. But you see, they just took the live down off of Instagram, so I don't think I'm live anymore. No, not live. I don't know. They keep doing this on Instagram all of a sudden. So, but let's keep going down this list. Oh yeah, this is lives with TikTok.
Hail, you're gonna do a Hail Hitler, or their rebrand a Roman salute from behind the presidential seal of the United States of America?
Lady, you're not even an American. You don't give a shit about this country. Just because you have citizenship doesn't mean you're an American. So you don't get to pretend that you care about the seal. You've been shitting on it for years. And hopefully you'll be primaried and you won't have to see your face anymore soon enough, hopefully.
It's on. It's on. And what is so important for us to understand is that as long as we don't give up, it's not over. It's not over.
It's over. There is no lady. You can't fight. You can't do anything except talk, and eventually, talk will be cheap because you won't be able to back up anything you say, and there won't always be security around or somebody there because you're digging a hole for yourself. Also, no one's buying your fake outrage. Everyone's just like, you're back lying again. Everyone can see the truth now. It's a beautiful thing about being in the age of social media. There's always transparency.
Is not over. Libs of TikTok started crying because I said over the weekend that Donald Trump was a rapist, and they went on Twitter.
No. That's actually liable. That's slander. And a news agency was just sued for the tune of millions for making false claims and statements about our president. Lady, you are next. You will also be sued and you will be censored because you can't just make up lies about people and think that you can get away with it. Trump's not a rapist. He was never convicted of rape. And if you look at E. Jean Carroll's case, she obviously was not a victim of any kind of SA or assault of any type. She admits that on the, just watch the Anderson Cooper interview. If I need to play it, let me know. I'll put it up for you guys. I can go, we can actually, matter of fact, why don't we? I mean, it's just, I'm not doing anything else right now, right? So let's see here. Trump accuser Carol Anderson. Okay. Let's see here. Trump accuser Anderson Cooper.
I think rape it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Rape is sexy. Rape is a fantasy. And you think that this lady's claims of something happening with Trump are credible.
On the ground and ravished. Which the word
Listen to
rape,
what she says. Listen to what she says about this about Trump raping her. Listen to what she says. Let's go ahead and see if I can turn the volume up higher. I hate that these videos are so low. Listen.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual.
Okay, and we're done. This was not sexual. He did not throw me on the ground and ravish me. So what was it? She says, well, it was a feeling. I just felt like he raped me 30 years ago. And you think that that makes you credible and puts you in a position to make claims about, and that gives AOC the privilege to make claims and lies about my president?
As we don't give up, it's not over.
It's over.
It's not over. It is not over.
He's the president already.
Libs of TikTok started crying because I said over the weekend that Donald Trump is a rapist.
Now, you think she hasn't seen these Anderson Cooper clips? Of course she has. Do you think she gives a damn? No. She's still lying, still making that up, and that's why she should be sued.
And they went on Twitter and they went, oh, boo hoo hoo. And I said, basically, F you, cry more. I don't give a shit. Like, you want to support a rapist? That's on you. That's on you. But I don't. And they wanted to call in all of these threats into my office and all this other stuff. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
That's crazy. Some people have had security around them for so long, right? They just feel like they can just say whatever and nothing can happen to them because they're invincible. They're indestructible. Nothing can happen. Nobody can ever reach out and touch me. It's a horrible attitude for someone in her shoes, but we'll let her stand there if she wants to. Good for her. But we had to call out her hypocrisy and her nonsense. You know what? There was another thing actually too that came up. I like Greg Gutfeld. He has guts, and he's arguing with this Jessica chick. and it was yeah, it was pretty interesting.
I'm saying that Americans voted for it. That's the difference. I don't have to say it's fine. I'm just telling you the reality.
Did you vote to revoke birthright citizenship for the children of people who are here legally?
Yes, we did vote to revoke birthright citizenship. It was not made to be used in this matter. Birthright citizenship was an instrument that was intended temporarily for the children of slaves born here. It was not meant to be abused by people coming here on boats or by planes and then getting pregnant here or giving birth here and then going back to their home country of origin. That's not what it was for. So you will not be able to manipulate our laws and game the system. That's going to stop. But I'm glad Gutfeld is calling her out. But I'll be honest, he calls her out every week, every month. This is the typical back and forth between Tarloff and Gutfeld.
Understand what that means?
Yeah, I do.
Tell me what birthright citizenship meant.
Well, I think when Donald Trump was talking about it and disparaging people over here, he was talking about undocumented people who come and drop their anchor babies. He wasn't talking about people who are here on student visas, people who are here on H-1B visas.
You're always going to shoot.
The H-1B visas are going to have to become a thing of the past. Student visas, I mean, there's other countries that have universities. There's nothing that students that are coming here from other countries can do that American students can't do if they go to the same schools and get the same education. These aren't things they're doing physically where you have a advantage based on your genetics. This is all mental stuff. And American people some of them are confused with their gender ideology and they vote Democrat. So if you exclude them, then we have a healthy, robust, intelligent population that can handle any of these jobs. We don't need to bring students here from other countries and employ them, or bring people in from other countries on H-1B visas and employ them when there's able-bodied Americans that are here right now working that need those jobs. So to hell with whatever Tarloff is talking about.
There's this weird exception.
No,
the system is game. Americans voted for Donald Trump because they saw these systems, these institutions being gamed. The asylum issue, the birthright citizenship issue, Title IX issues. Every single part of society was being gamed by the left. And finally, Americans got pushed too far. The point is, you don't have to like everything in the restaurant to like the restaurant. There are things I go to a restaurant, I don't eat any seafood, but I like that restaurant because it's got steak. There are things that Trump will do that I will disagree with, but the entire package is as close as you're going to get to what Americans want. Trump is redefining basically what a human being can do in 24 hours. It's incredible. He did more in a day than Biden did in his damn career, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. He had 3 balls last night. That's 3 more than Adam Kinzinger. A guy that slept in 2 days. I mean, the thing is, it's amazing. It's possible. It is possible. Donald Trump could complete his presidency in 3 months. Right. And then he could just say, you know what? You know what, JD, you take it from here. I think I did everything I could do. It's incredible. And by the way, you brought up, and you said it was a good thing, the fact that like these people have to go back to work, but then you mentioned all these challenges they have. Well, welcome to America. Every single one of us has a challenge, but yet we come to work. I'm not going to pay for their porn addiction. If they want to sit in front of Pornhub and go, I have chronic fatigue syndrome, you know what? Everybody in America could stay home because they have a sick loved one or a baby, but they...
Facts. Again, this is more gaming the system. Everybody wants to pretend that they're a victim and, there's all these different reasons why we shouldn't go back to work because we don't want to. That's not how things work. You are an employee. You're working for someone. You're going to have to do what they ask you to do. If you don't like it, quit. Like he said, you don't have to like everything on the menu to like the restaurant. However, if the menu and the restaurant are not to your taste, then find somewhere else to eat.
They're coming to work. They should go. I'm glad that he got rid of the appointees. I need work around the house. I pay well.
And by the way, that pardon for this guy, yeah, we're going to have to get rid of that. He's going to have to be prosecuted on a state level, or at least we got to get him to testify because he's pardoned, so there's no need for him to lie, but we're going to do it under oath. That's another thing we can talk about as well.
But I'm not done. I'm not done. I got a bring up the Nazi hoax thing because we all know this is BS, and yet the media is redefining losing every single day. Day one, they say Elon Musk made a Nazi salute, and I'm beginning to think, they know they're lying. So why are they doing? Why are they doing this? Because they realize they cannot rebuild their credibility. They're like a fat guy on death row. What's the point in dieting? You're already dead.
Looking forward to that last meal. Burrito.
I'm saying.
Absolutely. Just another clown that we have to ignore, Jessica Tarlov. Look at this. Another person on the internet can literally threaten to kill the president, and because she's a black kid, nobody will do nothing against her or she won't be arrested because they don't want to be called racist. Hopefully that will go away soon also.
YNs, all you motherfuckers with your Glocks and your switches and your shites, we need you right now.
No. You go get your own, you go put your own work in. You go get your own hands dirty. You go do it yourself. What are you asking other people to go throw their lives away for? You little idiot. You go do it. Handle your own candle. Don't ask anyone else to go and throw their future away because of you and your mental issues. I tell people like this. You're better off leaving the country than you are making videos like this and put them on the internet. Why are you still here? Just leave. Go somewhere where you'll be happy. Ghana has flights every hour on the hour. And guess who's not president of Ghana? Trump. Take your ass back home.
At the White House, we're not doing that grazing his skin, his ear shit, okay? We're going full-blown Lincoln, full-blown Kennedy right now. Like, off with that motherfucker's head. I'm sorry. Like, I know we're not supposed to wish death upon people, and it doesn't matter, like, which side they're on, blah, blah, blah. No. I don't give a fuck.
As you're speaking English, a white language from England, while you sound like a white chick, but yet you sit here and you want to pretend that you're from an oppressed minority group and you are looking for someone from that group to go and do something that you won't even do yourself. Anybody who knows you in person should spit in your face just for even asking them to do that, playing or not.
I don't give a fuck anymore. And you obviously know that because I'm posting this. Off with it.
She will be in court. If this makes it to court, she will be in front of the judge and she will beg for mercy. She will cry and all this energy will be gone. See, that's why I shouldn't be in charge. I wouldn't accept any of this. The mercy she's saying don't ask for, she wouldn't be granted any of it.
Someone get up there. I need someone with precision that knows what they're doing. I'm about to call up the Wyans in Beaumont, Texas. What's going on?
So how are you going to pay these people? What are you giving them to go do this favor for you?
And I don't know. I mean, maybe if you shoot him, maybe the next president will give you a pardon for it and you'll be released out of jail. So.
And if not?
You know.
Yeah, the internet is not for people literally get themselves in trouble on the internet every day and then they cry victim and blame other people, which is insanity.
They over there on Chambly and Buford. They always be at the farmers market over there on the south side at the big farmers market. But Chambly, that's little Mexico, Chambly, Buford side, all that right.
Breaking. ICE is allegedly offering $750 per illegal immigrant that you turn in through their tip forward. You can call ICE hotline 866-DHS-2-ICE. The hood is coming for the illegals. Of course they are. It's the hood. Shit, the hood's been coming for itself forever. That's why the population is still 13%. They got plans and it's usually for each other. But if you give them money, I'm sure they will turn and make their focus something else.
Yeah. Oh, they always be at the gas stations too. All the gas stations. QT, they be at the QT when you get off on Is that Turner Hill the one that's over there by the Six Flags? What is that? Them automatics be outside. What them? Riverside Drive, like right before you get to Six Flags, you get up on that exit and then QT, when you turn right, QT on your left hand side. Oh, they over there too.
Oh, she lives in, so I'm guessing she lives in either Palmdale or Lancaster, since those are the closest hoods to Magic Mountain. And only people who live in that area close to Santa Clarita would even know about that exit and that amusement park and those locations. So this is somebody from California, from Palmdale. Not Lancaster, definitely Palmdale, or somewhere in the Antelope Valley.
All the time. East side.
I don't think that if this was a real tip, which I doubt, and they were going to pay you, I doubt they would pay you if you're just giving them random businesses and telling them to go there and look for illegals. I don't think it works that way, but it's still funny. The premise is still funny.
South, you go into the gas station, like almost to the highway. Oh, there's that gas station right there too. Always on the corner.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they're asking for, but you never know. Man tried running out of the store, but tripped and got eliminated by a customer. Oh yeah, I probably can't watch this video because this is also going on FluffTube. Throwing frogs in a lake. Is that a crime? Do we not put frogs in a lake? I don't know. Is it an invasive species? Yeah, this person right here is they look like a pedo.
Reflect to pray with the nation.
Looks like a pedo, acts like one too.
For unity. And as I was pondering what are the foundations of unity, I wanted to emphasize respecting the honor and dignity of every human being, basic honesty and humility. And then I also realized that that unity requires a certain degree of mercy and compassion and understanding. And so knowing that a lot of people, as I said, in our country right now are really scared.
You know what? And those people will be removed. And then you can contact the authorities in Mexico where they came in from, because it's not going to be our job as Americans to fly them back to their home countries. I mean, they're from all over the world. We would look insane to pay for flights, international flights for millions of people. That's insane. They came through the Mexican border. They came through the Canadian border. They will be sent back across through the Mexican-Canadian borders. It will be up to Mexico to figure out what to do with them and how to get them to their destinations. The Mexicans are going to have to work out agreements with other countries. That is not something we are going to foot the bill for. And I hope you don't think that. This bishop, I will bring this back up in a few months and I will ask, will you now go to Mexico and plead with the Mexican government and talk to them about how scared, because the same people that are going to be kicked out of the country, the same people that you're now saying are scared in America, now they're going to be scared in Mexico. They're going to need mercy in Mexico. I'm going to need you, being that you're a religion, you supersede countries and borders. You don't believe in borders, right? I'm going to need you to go to Mexico and plead with the Mexican president and tell them about how afraid everyone is that is coming over the border, yada, yada, yada. You're going to have to do that now, too.
I wanted to take the opportunity in the context of that service for unity to say we need to treat everyone with dignity.
I want to see if the Mexican authorities will agree with you, because you're speaking to the choir right now. Those people are going to be removed. There's no need to talk to us about it. We don't care. You're going to need to talk to where they're headed and see if they're going to give them the same type of mercy and sympathy that you're asking us to give them. And let's see if you keep that same energy. I hope you bring a translator app. And this is true. This is tape.
You know, I'm kind of thinking we should bring the Nazi salute back. Because the people.
Well, it was a Roman salute. It's not a Nazi salute. That's what the Romans did.
Truth. They're only interested in twisting things to slander us. And I'm tired of us being on the defensive and explaining ourselves to people who have no interest in the truth and no interest in our side of the story and are going to lie anyway. And
That, again, he's saying what I'm saying. You have to ignore these people. They're going to lie anyway. Do you think they care about the truth? Do you think they care about being accurate, or do you think they care about garnishing sympathy for their cult? They don't give a shit about the truth. They don't care about being accurate. They don't even care about being right. They care about power, and they care about manipulating you and gaining your sympathy so that they can beg you for shit.
stop mentioning it. The BBC no longer calls it racist. Then they call it was fact. Couple articles on that, and they quit. Then I was a toxic misogynist. Well, guess what? Then I started tweeting women can't drive. They can't drive. Do I really hate
His point is to lean into it. Don't shy away from it. Never apologize. Whatever they call you, lean into it. Make them call you, let them call you what they want to. They're going to lie and make up stuff about you anyway. There's no point in pleading with them. You'll get nowhere fast. FBI agents are saying that if Kash Patel becomes the FBI director, it will cause massive damage to the agency and are threatening to quit the agency. Great. We want to damage the FBI. What good are they? They hunt down Americans. I don't think that was the purpose of creating the Federal Bureau of Investigations in the first place, but that's what it's being used for. It was weaponized against the United States government and against our former president, and it was weaponized against the president while he was president. It needs to be either revamped, the whole thing revamped, or dissolved and something else created in its stead. Actually, to be honest with you, there's federal authorities already. We have U.S. Marshals. It's kind of redundant in a way to have the FBI, especially if you have every state has its own Bureau of Investigations anyway. So we really don't need them anymore. And they've shown us that over the last few years. They haven't stopped any of the crime they didn't stop any of the crime or the waves of illegals being trafficked throughout the country. Human trafficking is at an all-time high. Fentanyl overdoses all-time high. And they're chasing down 80-year-old women who were holding American flags and walking around the Capitol on January 6th when the building was open. It wasn't even after hours. Yeah, dude. Screw the Fed. To hell with them. Kash Patel is correct. And let me go ahead and repost this. Now, this is on my Safe and Effective Twitter page, Club Rico Podcast. If you can, follow me there. Follow me on YouTube. And this is our daily news brief. I have another couple of videos coming up tonight, but we're just going over some of the news topics for today. Another one of the 13% trying to steal and got caught. Nothing amazing. And this is people in Mexico mad about a leader of another country that they don't have anything to do with. Mexicans living in Mexico protesting another country's leader for telling them to live in Mexico. Absolutely. Yeah, whatever's going on with Ariana Grande is weird. I mean, I can barely recognize her anymore. So only recognized as an attack on trans. Okay, if you feel attacked, leave the country. If you feel attacked, go somewhere else. Bye. I don't know why people would subjugate themselves to being attacked and hurt. If where you're at is that bad, leave. Don't complain. Change where you live. A demon disguised as a pastor. Absolutely. Some young kid, some poor child's and seen this face right before some horrible things have happened. Yeah, the police have their issues sometimes. This is how South Koreans deal with immigrants. Every country has a right to enforce their immigration laws. Absolutely. I couldn't move to South Korea and just decide I'm going to live there without getting a visa or following their rules for living. They would deport the fuck out of me. Anybody would. Everybody would. Nothing to do with anything else. That's just how, we live. Every country has its own laws. You can't just make your own up because you're gay or you're black. It's not how it's going to work. The first and second lady. What was the Mexican president? What was she saying? I hate when that happens. Oh man, yeah, I love Myron.
Oh, anyway, the fuck out of here. Keep your Shaniquas, keep your Larkisas, keep your fucking weave works, keep your watermelon works. I don't give a fuck. Take a great drink and get the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit. You ain't gonna fucking make me feel bad. That's like black women that watch you. Okay, I don't want them. Who cares?
Point taken and well said. His captions are funny though, but this is America. You don't have to like anybody, especially black people, especially gay people. You don't have to like anyone. If I don't like your lifestyle and what you're doing, that's like somebody coming to me and saying, Rico, and they come up with a new term. You're a califragilisticist if you won't date a man pretending to be a woman that we call a trans woman or man, whatever. And you're this, that, and the third if you won't, I don't know, marry some random piece of trash. Like why would I do any of those things? And who am I trying to impress? This is America. I don't have to like anybody I don't want to. I don't have to kiss nobody's ass. If I don't like you, I don't like you. If I don't like your lifestyle, I don't like it. That's like me. That's like someone trying to convince me that I'm a bad person because I don't accept the pedophile lifestyle. Oh, this person's a minor attracted person. If you call him a pedophile, you're actually insensitive and you're this. And okay, then I'm insensitive. I'm a bigot. I'm a racist. I'm whatever you want to call me. Call me whatever. I'm not going to accept pedophiles, but you will. See, that's the thing where those two communities make very strange bedfellows. Black people, unfortunately, and I'm not talking about the exceptions, I'm talking about the rule. Across the board, especially if they're fair skin or light skin, they have this mental condition where they think in their mind there's an imaginary war going on against white people. So what they do is they try to contact and connect with every group in the country to form an alliance, looking to get allies on their side to fight in their imaginary war against straight white men. The problem is nobody wants to join them. No one trusts them. No one likes them. No one wants to work with them. No one wants to do business with them. Unfortunately, you're forced to because of integration laws. But if you could choose to not let them come eat at your restaurants, go to school with your kids, ride on public transportation with you, or basically where you're putting your family's safety at risk by being around them because it is dangerous. If people could do that, they would do that. But luckily, a lot of them are starting to self-segregate. They want to have their own dorms. They want to have their own separate graduations. They want to do all their own separate stuff, which I don't think anybody's arguing with them. Great, have your own. My community has its own stuff. We never had to force a boycott of certain businesses because they don't want to. We have our own businesses. You know, that was the funny thing about the whole Rosa Parks thing, for example. If you're watching that video of her not wanting to get off that bus, the funny thing is if the cameraman would have panned to the left, you would have seen the black bus right next to that one, right behind it. It literally, they go to the exact same stops, same buses. But why do you want to ride on this bus and be around white people so bad? Why do you want to breathe on the white bus driver's neck? Like, why? There's a bus right here that you could ride. Matter of fact, why would you want to sit at those lunch counters? There's black-owned businesses 2 doors down that have the same food, probably tastes better. You could have eaten there. Why are you forcing people to deal with you who don't want to deal with you? And admittedly, you are a racist and you hate those people too. So why are you forcing it? Why is it a bad thing? Myron doesn't want to deal with those people, but yet they send him death threats and they're so angry at him because he doesn't want to fuck with them. He doesn't have to. He shouldn't deal with them. It's uncomfortable. I've been in this country off and on. The majority of my life I've been in this country. Literally, the only group you have to worry about lowering your lifespan is that particular group that Myron's referring to right here. If you just avoid that group, you can live to be 30, 40. You can even learn, you can live to be 50, maybe even 60 years old one day. All you got to do is just avoid them. You spend too much time, you hang around them, you'll live to be early 20s, and then you're on a t-shirt and your family's looking to do a car wash to bury you. They don't like Trump, they don't like the country, they don't like anything. But they're enabled because they can live in their little communist world because the taxes from Americans who are capitalists enable them and fund their delusions and their lifestyle. I have an ex-girlfriend. She's not even black, but she's white and she's Puerto Rican. So she kind of leans towards victimhood more so than she leans towards, like, she considers herself more slave than master, even though her mom's white. So you will be equal technically, but you're not even American black. But even in her mind, she wants to be a communist. She wants to get food stamps, and she wants to live off of that, I guess, indefinitely. We're broken up now. I'm like, well, why don't you, you're 30, you're in your 30s, why don't you just go work? Why don't you just get a job? Why don't you go do something? Why are you going down to these places and crying if they won't give you free food stamps? It's like, what are you doing? She wants to live like a communist. They think that communism is great because the government owns the means of productions and they produce the food that you're getting. They don't realize there's no variety in that production. In the 70s, from what I've heard, there was something called government cheese. You only had one type of government cheese. It wasn't like you had a variety of different types: shredded government cheese, feta government cheese, mozzarella, Parmesan government cheese. It was just government cheese. I'm from a country where when you go into the store, you get a voucher. There's 4 items to choose from. That's it. People think that once you're under communism, you can walk to the store and you get to choose anything you want. Everything's free. Because you're an idiot. Why would we want to interact with communists? We don't. That's not our target market. We don't make videos for them. I'm not on here talking about LA gang politics, Chicago gang politics. I'm not, for what? I could get views. I don't want to talk about that. It's nonsensical. Okay, you can sum it all up. Such and such said this, such and such said that. They both tried to kill each other, and guess what? One of them died, and then a short time later, the other one went to prison. You can literally mix and match that. That will literally apply to every male, unfortunately, from that community. And who's left? Just the women with the kids talking on the internet, making threats, and then all of a sudden, now all the kids are gay. So it's a lot of problems with that. So you can't be mad at Myron. I think Myron's great, and he's smart because he's standing on what he said, and he's avoiding a lot of them. He's getting more into the political space. He's not necessarily doing too many shows with just a bunch of girls on there pointing out the obvious to them, which is actually healthy. A lot of men, I'll be honest, there's a revolution going on right now nobody's talking about. And it's mainly to do with just men in America. For forever, we lived in this country. Relationships went a certain way. We didn't know what was going on in the minds of women because all we know is what they tell us. Now women are getting on podcasts and doing interviews with each other and making videos. It's just them and a camera, right? They're not realizing that thousands and millions of men who would have been interested in them are now listening and learning and are saying to themselves, so I was just the food guy. I was just the guy she would beg for money. Oh, she knows that I'm sensitive and that I have dad issues or mom issues. So if she tells me she's having issues with her family, maybe I'll send her some money to help her pay her bills. But she has 10 guys that she runs this routine on. Or she just accuses, she goes around, because there's a women that they admit to this on video, that they accuse 10 guys a year. They target men who they think are affluent. They'll get in, they'll consensually have, sex with these men. And then they'll claim that they don't remember it. It wasn't consensual. And You know, I don't want to go to the police. Let's work out like a settlement. And they're getting money from these men every month, 2,500 times 10. So basically, they make a living off extortion and blackmail, and no one. Men are now choosing to avoid that. This whole passport situation, passport brothers, it's real. Men are choosing to go to other countries to deal with women from other places than to deal with them here because it's too risky over here. Myron is the reason why men now know the truth about what these women think. So we owe him a debt of gratitude. So we should appreciate the things that Myron contributes. You know, he makes a lot of good points. And again, when I say we don't want our kids around them, we don't want to interact with them, we don't want to deal with them, we don't want to play against them, this is an example. Attacking kids on the basketball court at a game. Parents are watching this. And if somebody does something to the kid or his family or the coach, oh, you're a racist, you're a bitch, all that's about to be out the window pretty soon. All that's over with. And good riddance. I mean, this is going on in Russia, not necessarily our business. And
You could. Look, dude, I need to calm off too. Does anybody else want to get involved with my business right now? Listen, man, sit back down before you start trying to be like that. You could. Look, dude, I need to calm off too. Does anybody else want to get involved with my business right now?
I don't think airplanes are this well lit when they're in the sky, or are they? I think this is a skit.
Man, sit back down before you hurt yourself. All right?
He got up quick. He didn't have to unbuckle.
I'm warning you. Hang on. I'm warning you. The way you talk to her, the way you talk to her business is not yours. It's not my business. It's everybody's business.
And I'll be honest, this is 2025. You're not going to meet a white male who's not timid or emasculated or just cucked or gay out of his mind that's going to speak up in public. It's like so rare. You know, they've been literally just demoralized and emasculated in the media and the press. And they can't do anything right anymore because you let Marxists tell you what to think in the media. So I'm not expecting this to be a real video, but let's ride it out. It's only a minute and a half long.
So cool it. I'm warning you. This is the last time.
Dude, it's not 1933 anymore. Things have changed. So why don't you just sit down and go back to your own. Sit. Yeah. Don't get me in drink.
Last warning.
Get me some water. Sit. One. Find it. All right. Okay.
Aisles are also not typically that big. Airplanes are a lot. This whole seems like staged.
You know, can you make it now?
Touch me. Do not touch me.
Turn back.
Yeah, the flight attendant would have already threatened to call the pilot. So this is definitely not. There would already been 3 other flight attendants would have already walked over.
Back around.
Hey.
And women are not quiet and submissive like this anymore, unfortunately. This is fake as fuck. There's no way 2 grown big men are gonna be tussling on the ground. He's gonna have them in an arm bar in a leg. This is fake. So let's just keep going. But look at the propaganda. You barely ever even see white males anywhere anymore. But they're trying to pretend he's the evil bad guy in the situation, a straight white male. So it's just all propaganda against white males. But who are they trying to prop up instead of white males? The violent or the gay black ones. And no one did anything. All these men around here. And no men are standing up, no men are helping her because, I mean, you saw what happened to Daniel Penny. You fight back against a black man or a black person at all, and you will be prosecuted, and everybody will say you're all these different things. It's no right answer, unfortunately. This is what we were going to read about earlier. Mexico to Trump. Your migrants, your problem. She must think that we're asking to send them back through Mexico. This isn't a request. We're telling you what we're going to do. And unless you're going to send your military to fight us, you're going to shut the hell up and stay in your place. And you will figure out how to get these people back to their home countries since you allowed them into your country in the first place to come to our borders. I think people think we're still playing around here. They think this is a joke. Yes, she was installed by the cartels herself, her entire, they killed, I think it was 33 politicians that were running for president that were assassinated, and they allowed her to win. And she's actually Jewish. So business is booming, obviously, but she's going to have a rough time because we're declaring war against the cartels. And if it turns out the Mexican government is aiding them, there will be a new Mexican government being installed because they're on our borders, and America we're not playing that anymore. We actually have a leader in office. So she can say what she wants. President Claudia Sheinbaum. Wow, that's a strange name for a Mexican president. Sheinbaum, not Gonzalez, Ramirez, Gomez, but Sheinbaum. Dismissed Trump's revised Remain in Mexico plan. She made it clear that her country hasn't agreed to house non-Mexican asylum seekers. We don't care. You housed them long enough to get them to the U.S. border through your huge country. While the U.S. tries to revive its border crackdown, Sheinbaum stressed that Mexico won't be a dumping ground for American immigration policies. Yes, it will. Instead, they'll offer humanitarian aid and voluntary return programs. You will offer whatever the hell we tell you to offer. What makes these people think this is a negotiation? I don't get it. Like, the negotiation part is over. That was a long time ago. You missed that bus. Trump's hardline immigration stance is back, but Mexico isn't taking bait this time. It doesn't matter what they are going to take. They're going to take it. This isn't not like they can't stop us. They can't. And in Ciudad Juarez, in Juarez City, soldiers are racing against the clock, setting up giant tent shelters to catch the human wave expected from the U.S. The plan, called Mexico Embraces You, includes food, medical care, and buses to send deportees back to their hometowns. No. You're going to send them back to their home countries, or they're going to be living in Mexico with you guys. But critics are raising alarms, calling the government's efforts rushed and uncoordinated. Okay, if somebody else has a better suggestion and some money for it, be their guest. Go help. With millions of undocumented Mexicans at risk and border cities already strained, the situation could spiral out of control quickly. Yeah, well, you guys should have considered that before you allowed all these people into your country just so that you could help invade ours. Now you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. That's just how it goes. According to recent data, the yearly average of remittance payments to Mexico in 2023 was approximately $63.3 billion. This figure represents a significant portion of Mexico's economy, positioning it as the second largest recipient of remittance globally. So basically, they're talking about how much money is sent from people working in Mexico back to Mexico. Money that could be stimulating our economy here is being sent to Mexico. Yeah, that's not going to work anymore. Yep, and they're just making points about her being Jewish. Yeah. The reason Democrats are so quiet is because Trump defeated them morally, not just politically. On immigration, on migration, energy, trans, and other issues, the majority of Americans agree with the Republicans, not Democrats. And again, we are now ignoring those few that are still holding out, like this guy.
To use the facilities while I'm out. At times, anxiety from this, as well as similar other events, has become so intense that it's caused me to become agoraphobic and actually not leave the house at all. It feels like the opinion that trans women shouldn't be allowed to use women's bathrooms is somehow rooted in the idea that all trans people are somehow predatory.
Or pedophiles. Again, you're an adult man, but you're wearing a child's t-shirt with colors and unicorns on your shirt, which is what a young child might identify with and say, oh, look at that. That's cute. I've seen that on a cartoon. And here you are trying to appeal to. I really hate pedophiles. I really hate these sick people that target children. I really can't stand them.
Which would, of
I'm usually surprised at the tolerance other people have for them.
course, be a really bigoted thing to believe. It would just be nice to be able to leave the house without the anxiety of being harassed or attacked if I need to use the bathroom.
Yeah, then you might want to change your appearance, buddy. You're still a man.
Woman now that Muslims are using for their jihad. This trash right here. What this trash can now is defending Muslims. You filthy scum. Jezebel slut.
How dare you keep my name out of your dirty little mouth? You guys gotta see this.
Lily J. Little whore. She a prostitute. This is the woman now that Muslims are using for their jihad. This trash right here. What this trash can now is defending Muslims. You filthy scum. Jezebel slut.
How dare you keep my name out of your dirty little mouth?
I believe she's the one who did the whole 1,000 guys in one day thing. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's her. I recognize the face, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of blondes doing that lately. So, female cop accidentally shoots a guy in the leg with his own gun during a traffic stop. This is a DEI problem, and look at her. Not properly trained. Shouldn't be on the job anyway.
Wait, let me go now. Put it down. You okay? Nope. Yes, no, wait. He's very quiet. He does have a pistol on him, so.
DEI policies are an insult to law enforcement, an insult to any profession in the country, in the world. These are people who we wouldn't normally hire to work with us because they're incompetent, they're idiots, they're foolish, and they're autistic sometimes. So they're substandard when it comes to dealing with the public, dealing with people in general, and they're not too bright. That's just a rule of thumb, which is why they require affirmative action or DEI, because they can't make it on the merits. They can't do the job. So they have to be let in with a technicality, and then you're going to get bad results like this one. This guy was very compliant. Why they're taking him out the car to remove his gun, but he's compliant and he has everything, it doesn't make any sense. And black fingernails, doesn't know how to operate a gun properly. Poor training, but guess what? You don't have to be properly trained because you're a DEI hire. So that means even if you failed, they can't afford to fail you. They need the diversity for the quotas, so they're going to pass you anyway. That means she shouldn't have been there, and DEI means people, D-I-E. Luckily, he didn't die. Clapped him. But you want me to let DEI hire come here? Get the hell out of here. Pretending to work while taking money from taxpayers is no longer acceptable. If you're a government employee, you are taking your ass back to the office. I doubt he said that. He's too busy worried about what his wife's doing or how to make his boyfriend happy. I'm not going to even repost that. It doesn't, because it's just somebody who made a meme. Donald Trump knew, but still just a meme.
I saw the ice truck. And I also saw a lot of police officers on the motorcycles. So you guys, please stay indoor and be silent.
She thinks, now she's also an illegal. You can tell by the accent, which is why she even cares. Nobody who's not illegal is worried about ICE. But obviously she is. And she's in Arizona trying to tell people how to avoid them. She must think this is 1991. It is not. They know who you are, they know where you are, and to the best of their abilities, they will make sure they eventually apprehend you. You're a wanted criminal.
ICE is out here raiding people's apartments. I was driving to the office this morning. I saw the ICE truck. And I also saw a lot of police officers on the motorcycles. So you guys, please stay indoor and be silent. Even if they knock on your door, do not say a word. Like, just stay indoor at this point. Do not come out. Because they are literally targeting Hispanics. Because all the cars that got pulled over this morning, I believe over 30 cars got pulled over this morning. And they were all Hispanics.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to think about it. That's the group, unfortunately, with a certain look that they are, that would typically mean that you fit the description of somebody who was led into the country illegally. If you were here, or if you're here legally, you have nothing to worry about, nothing to be afraid of. But if you're a criminal, you should be scared. So why are you so scared? Only a hit dog will holler. If the shoe don't fit, why are you forcing it on? I doubt you just care about everybody equally. I don't see you getting online and saying, if you're a pedophile, be careful. They're doing stings out there. They're trying to catch you. Oh, no. If you don't care, if you want to look for everybody, if you're equally trying to help people evade law enforcement, then it should be across the board. Don't just single them out. But anyway, we're going to get back to, well, I want to talk about this too. I'll be back in about a half an hour. I'm going to go have dinner, and then I'll be back on. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, America First Daily News. We're on the Club Rico podcast right now, or on the Safe and Effective podcast on YouTube. Like and subscribe, and I will put the links in the bio on how to find us on our other pages. Thank you, and remember, to hell with the World Economic Forum, and to hell with the World Health Organization, and to hell with Klaus Schwab. Thank you.
After a ton of stress and worry because of my super low credit score, we were finally able to sign on my dream apartment. I wouldn't have been able to do it without cosigning.com. I was able to get a guarantor that was signed with me so that I could obtain this amazing apartment.